Rob Manfred has got to be the worst commissioner in baseball history. As a commissioner of a sport, you have one job, and that's to make sure the sport is played. And he has failed at that. We are currently in a lockout because he has failed at his job. It's something that we knew was coming. We knew the lockout was coming. Ask anybody around baseball, they knew it was going to happen. As soon as the CBA was up, a deal would not be made and we'd be in a lockout. Now, the players are asking for a lot, but you can't tell me it's that hard to come up with a deal. What they're asking for is not overly complicated where we need this lockout. And it's not like Manfred has done a good job at his job in the past. We saw with the COVID season, the MLB and the Players Union struggle to agree terms to start the season. The season was delayed, partially to COVID and partially to this, and they're on agreements to Manfred to do his job right. And it just shows you that he can't do his job. His big emphasis is pace of play, and he's tried to improve it, and it really hasn't helped at all. And I don't think anyone is overly concerned with baseball's pace of play. You go to a game, you just enjoy being at the ballpark. You're not really concerned with how fast the game is. A lot of times, you'll go to a game and you want it not to end because you're having such a good time. That's more of a point of emphasis on the times, how well games go, than how long they take. That's just for starters. Another thing is you got MLB players such as Trevor Bauer making YouTube videos ranting, similar to me right now, on how bad of a commissioner he is. You can't have that from your own players. These are the guys that you're supposed to be managing as the leader of baseball, which he is, as the commissioner, as the guy in charge. You're supposed to handle these guys and make it so they do their job. They stay in the sort of right way with fines and stuff. You hand out fines if they act up, keep them in play, keep the public relation right, and he's just done a terrible job at that. You can't have guys coming out and publicly bashing you for how bad you're doing at your job. The only time you should hear about a commissioner is if something good happens, not when something bad happens, and I can't tell you the last time we heard about Manfred doing a good thing. Same thing with Roger Goodell in the NFL. Now, Adam Silver is who they should look up to, and David Stern for that matter, the previous commissioner of the NBA. The NBA's commissioners have done a great job handling things the right way, handling all the things you need a commissioner to handle, and baseball's just botched it all. You had the thing in the summer of the social justice movement during the COVID season, where it was the players decided not to play, and MLB just handled it poorly. Some games were played, some games weren't. It wasn't an overall collective thing. It was a thing that was just completely botched by Manfred and Manfred's people. And you can't have those types of things because as the commissioner, your only job is to make things go smoothly. Like, if we don't know who you are, then you're doing your job right. Because we only hear about you when you do something wrong. You should fly under the radar. The league works well. You never have issues like lockouts. And there'll be no issues. You never have issues like botching social justice situations, and there will be no issues. You never have issues like trying to change rules that don't need to be changed, like you did with the pace of play, and we won't have these issues. You do your job well enough where players don't come out and bash you, and we won't have these issues. So basically, to sum it all up, if you do your job right, we won't have these issues. He called the MLB trophy a piece of metal. So basically, all these MLB players are expected to go out there and risk their bodies to compete for a piece of metal. He called the championship trophy a piece of metal. Is that something that you would see in any other sport? Is it? Because I don't think so. The commissioners should make it so what the players are competing for is of value and not just devalue it as by calling it a piece of metal and then make it something worthwhile. And plus, why would anyone want to play in Manfred's league? He does a terrible job running it. He's a terrible commissioner. They've done nothing right in his time. Bud Selig was much better as a commissioner, and even he had his own issues. Him and his group has completely botched everything as he's been in office. If someone can name anything that he's done right as a commissioner, please let me know, because I'll be waiting because it won't come.